What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Fix this fucking camera angle. Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about being adaptive to your environment and adapting to your surroundings, which is important if, well, bottom line, if you're not like a professional athlete who only gets paid to play your sport or be a bodybuilder, then you have a whole world around you that can interfere with that very easily. Now, I myself, I can adapt fairly well. I'm not the easiest to, it's not easy for me to just kind of move into a new situation. Change is kind of something that I don't really like a lot. I like routine. I like things that are very, specific on a daily basis that, I know what I'm going to do, where I'm going to be, etc. And when things get thrown off, like we go to the gym and it's closed for the holiday and we forgot. Fuck, we got to go to another gym. Well, I got to figure out what the gym is. It doesn't seem like a big deal to some people, but to some people it does. Now I look back when I was a kid, and this is kind of how I became adaptive. When I was a kid, my parents, we didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid. My parents had run into financial troubles a couple times, and we had to move. And sometimes we had to move to, a different apartment or a different house or whatever the case may be. But we moved quite often. I can't count as many times as we moved, to be honest with you. There was quite a few times that the family just picked up and moved. And it was from one town to another. We went from Barrington, Rhode Island to Warren, Rhode Island, from Warren, Rhode Island to Bristol, Rhode Island, from Bristol, Rhode Island to Swansea, Massachusetts. I mean, they picked up and moved all over the place. And I think my parents now are in Fall River, Massachusetts. But there had to be a sense of urgency where, look, we can't afford this anymore. We have to go and do this, and we just have to make do. So next thing you know, you're packing up the house again, and of course, you don't want to move a lot of the stuff that you've accumulated over the last year or two. I think maybe we stayed like a year, maybe like the shortest span we stayed somewhere. A couple years, maybe the longest span. And so some things would be given away and thrown out. Like you learn very quickly that, possessions are not really what's important. What's important is if you have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, and you have your family. That was what was important. So we would move. So I kind of, and I hated it. I absolutely hated moving. To this day, when, I have to move, Kari and I have been here for 5 years in this house. And, when it's time to move, like I dread it. I dread it because I don't like the change. I don't like it. And some people don't like to move at all. Other people, like Kari, really accept those challenges. Kari likes to be put in those situations. She likes to say, okay, I'm going to go on a trip. I'm going on a trip for work, and I don't know anything about the place, and I don't know anything about the gyms, I don't know anything about the restaurants or the food, but I'm going to figure it out. And she'll pack all her meals, then she'll fly out, she'll find the gym, she'll do her training, she'll go to work. I mean, she'll do all those things, accept those challenges, and that's fun and exciting for her. Me, not so much. I mean, it's a little harder to do. So at this point, actually Alex Kang has actually had some things going on lately. If you guys watch Tiger Echo 2, where he had gotten, I don't want to say kicked out, but when he left a gym, they didn't see eye to eye, so he left the gym, and or he got kicked out, whichever one. But he went to another gym. He just adapted very quickly. He had to find a gym to train at. It didn't matter. Went to another gym, had an issue there, had to find another gym. Like, it's not really about an emotional roller coaster to make this change and adapt. It's really just about a physical adaptation. You just need to get in the gym. You need to train. So now, let's say your company wants you to work overtime this week. You need to adapt to that. You don't just skip your workouts. You say, okay, I'm going to get up an hour early. I'm going to go to bed half an hour later at night. I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of sleep for just this week, but I'm going to get my workouts in. And yes, I'm going to be working more hours, so that just means I'm going to pack more meals. I'm not going to skip them. I'm not going to forget about them. I'm going to pack more and bring them with me. Or I'm going to make the conscious decision to not eat the shitty foods that is keeping me fat. I'm going to make you adapt to the situation. Maybe you wind up at a different restaurant than you normally eat at, at a different time that has a different menu because you're in a different place for work. Well, you need to adapt to that. Look at the menu. You can figure it out. Adapt to what's going on around you. And I think that the people who are really good at adapting to the surroundings usually accomplish a lot in life no matter what it is. Like, it doesn't matter where they are, what they're doing. They're just so laser focused on going forward and, getting done, accomplishing their goal, and not looking into things too emotionally that's around them, like, oh no, I gotta move again. Oh shit, I gotta work overtime. Fuck, another 15-hour day. Like, they take the emotion out of that and they go, okay, I got a 15-hour day coming up. What can I do to maximize everything in that day? And they adapt to it. Very difficult. It's easier said than done. It's very difficult to do, but it's just something that not a lot of people talk about. And I think that it's very important for people to understand that, you know, it may not necessarily be your training or be your diet or be your cardio or whatever the case may be. It may be your surroundings that's interfering with that. But if that's the case, you're letting it interfere with that. Biohackertraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biohackertraining.com is the site. I'm Bios3 and I approve this message, and we're out.